Today, I'm buying one of my dream cars, a car that I've lusted after for so long. I've always wanted one of these things, and today is the day that I go and pick that car up. I got myself on a train and headed up to North Allerton via Leeds and Newton Le Willows, wherever that is. Very nice though. I've been nervous about putting this video out because I've been worried about how people are going to react to it, because I'm not, you know, spinning around in a old Rover or something like that. Even though, as I sit here now, I am a high bidder on an old Rover, you know, for 800 quid that I can't wait to get my hands on. I'm just nervous that people are going to see this and go, oh no, he's, you know, Matt Armstrong, and he's just going to be doing this and doing all that, you know, and it's going to change and, you know, keep it real and all this sort of stuff. But I need to say something. I'm a petrol head, okay? I will always be a petrol head. Petrol hedonism runs through my veins, and that will always come first. So being a sort of young lad that lives up north, spending money on yourself has always felt a little bit wrong. I don't know why. I've got to the stage now where I've got everything I need. My mum's looked after. What else am I going to do with the money? Let's go out and buy a convertible 911, which is what I've always wanted. I've arrived and the sun's out. How good's that? Because I bought a convertible, which you're about to see. Jamie's picking me up. Bought the car off him. I've just got to find the way out, find the car park. Chauffeur's arrived. What do you think then? Is it what you expected? I am excited to drive this thing away. And look at the sun as well. Roof's coming straight down. Oh, it's nice. So I bought this car off a couple of very passionate people. Let me introduce you to them and show you how passionate they are.
It was my dad's car many years ago.
Yeah.
He bought it in 1993.
Nice, okay. 993, yeah.
Yeah. And it was on the road for a few years, I think.
Oh, it's
Quite a few years. Then he got put away in the garage for quite a long time. And it came out for one day, which was my wedding day.
Oh wow, nice.
In August 2002.
Brilliant, yeah.
And then from that day on, it stood in that shed down there until last year.
And now it's getting a restoration.
Yeah, it's for quite a long time the engine's been really quite sluggish, bad oil pressure.
Right, okay.
Bit of a metallic knock on it, top end, bottom end, whatever it was.
Yeah,
so yeah, last year we took the engine and gearbox out of it, and the engine's now away at a Porsche specialist getting rebuilt.
Because it's supposed to be in there, isn't it?
So it's supposed to be in that hole there.
I mean, it's stunning. A Targa, it's just gorgeous.
It's a bit of an oddball, yeah. You don't see many Targas nowadays.
And white as well.
Yeah, Grand Prix white, yeah.
It's just absolutely superb.
Yeah.
And it's in such nice condition.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Perfect, but
It's not bad.
For one of these, it's quite.
When my dad bought the car in '93, he repainted it because he's a panel beater and paint sprayer by trade. So
oh, nice, brilliant.
my dad painted it just not long after he got it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And it's from there on it stayed as it is now.
You've got a couple of other toys, haven't you, tucked away?
Only one.
The Jag.
Well, there's just a Jag, yeah. Just a Jag and two motorbikes. There's a looking rubber.
Yeah. Something else that doesn't get used very much.
So this is where the Porsche has been sat and not being used. I mean, you see, you've not really used it. You've probably done a few thousand miles in the last
2,500 miles in 8 years.
In 8 years, 2,500 miles. Wow.
Yeah.
It's going to do that probably this week, I would have thought.
That's what it needs. That's what it needs.
But no, my eyesight's gone all together now, so
Right,
I'll
yeah.
be driving that in one, so that'll be going up for sale as well, I would think.
The Jag. So this is the F-Type here, tucked away. Gorgeous thing. Absolutely beautiful looking car.
Yeah, sounds even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Life goes on, doesn't it?
It does.
We're all going to get older and things start dropping off.
But the good thing is you've had them and you've enjoyed
I've
them.
had them and enjoyed them. Would I change it? No, I wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Fully enjoyed just the fun out of them.
And this is the way, this is one of the reasons why I've bought this now, because it's not my usual sort of thing that I drive, you know. And, you know, you only live once. I've got to sort of spend it, driving a Porsche.
Why not?
I think it might be time to hit the road, get the roof down, hit the road. Absolutely superb. Look at that. What a thing. Nice bit of kit. 75,000 miles. That'll do for me. Thank you both very much. Thanks for being patient with me picking it up as well.
Sorry, don't worry about it. Then the sport button.
Am I driving a Porsche 911 convertible? How's that happened? Finding old cars and saving them from the scrapyard and resurrecting them, and you know, real sort of adventures with classic cars and some more modern stuff as well, is where my heart lies. So nothing's going to change, but I just thought I should talk you through where I am and why I've got myself this. But what is it that I've got? This is a 911 Carrera 2S. Now the 2 means two-wheel drive, and no, it's not those ones, it's those ones, which is the one that I wanted. Four-wheel drives are sick as well, and I probably would have got one of those if it had come up with the right spec and stuff that I wanted, but this is the spec that I wanted. It had to be red. If you're going to get a car like this, buy the colour, you know. There's too many silver cars, black cars, grey cars. They're just boring, and there's millions of them, and they're, you know, buy the colour. I've waited for almost a year to find one in the spec that I wanted in this colour, because when they were new, nobody really bought red, because I don't know, new cars, it was silver and black, and it was just, you know, they look cool when they're new, but as time goes on, they don't particularly sort of look as cool. And because these are so much rarer, the red ones and other colours, try and find a yellow one, you know. Because they are so much rarer, they do tend to hold their money a little bit better, and I think just look more interesting when you're driving. You know, when you see one driving past, it's like, ooh. But if it's a silver one, it could be anything, couldn't it? It could be a Golf. The wheels are wrong. They should have Lobster claw alloy wheels, which look like this. They're the wheels that it should have. I don't like these ones, these Superleggera type things. It's not a bloody Peugeot 106 GTI, is it? So I'm going to get rid of these and put some Lobster claws on. And I'm going to do that in this video. So in this video, we're going to be looking at giving the car a proper service, because as you heard earlier, you know, 2,500 miles in 8 years or whatever it was, and the service history is sporadic. So I'm going to stamp it up with my stamp and get a proper nice service done. We'll go through it in a bit of detail, but also I'm going to look at money wise, what it actually costs and all this sort of stuff. And you know, I'm going to daily this thing. I'm going to use this to get to work and back. So what's that going to cost me, you know? But we're going to go through all of that in this video. It also had to be the Carrera S. Now the S stands for sexy, and it's sexy because this has got 355 horsepower that is mainly in this area here. The normal 911 Carrera, not the S, that had 325 horsepower, so it's an extra 30 if you stick an S on it, you know, which is super good, isn't it? So this is a 997.1, right? Now that is unfortunately the one that has potentially the most issues, which when we service the car we're going to get into, and we're going to get into the potential pitfalls and what I've done in order to sort of negate that risk, because there is some potentially very expensive things that could go wrong with this car. It had to be the manual, of course. You know, I don't want to drive around in an automatic, you know, whatever it is. Not bothered with that at all. This is a car that needs a manual gearbox. Anything else is probably not good enough, you know. It's of the age where a flappy paddle thing, yeah, they're all right, but the manual gearbox is what you need. I'm trying to find that in red as a 2S with the manual gearbox, you know, all these options, because a lot of the convertibles are automatics. So trying to find all that together was quite difficult. And couple that with these buttons here. Now this has got what I think is called the Sport Chrono Pack, and the cruise control. That was a deal breaker for me. I had to have the cruise control, but also the PASM, Porsche Active Stability Management, is nice, but the button next to it is nicer, because as you heard earlier when I fired it up, that button opens a flap in the exhaust and makes it sound all loud and cool. So I wanted that. I needed that. I like loud exhausts, so I wanted that, you know. So finding all of this together in a car that was very well looked after, you know, the thing's absolutely spotless, there's no marks on it, and, you know, decent-ish service history, but we'll get into that later. Trying to find all that in my budget, not easy. Now I've paid for this car £24,500. You could buy probably 50, 60 Rover 25s for that. That's a lot of money. That is a lot of money, maybe even more. But yeah, it's the car that I wanted, and I bought it. It's got quite a nice sort of, you know, system on it here, and sat nav and all that sort of stuff, which I'm going to have a bit of a play with now on the way home. I want to try and do some avoid motorways stuff. But yeah, it's got lots of options, AC, heated seat. It's got all the nice stuff that I wanted. It's got a parrot kit that doesn't seem to be working, but again, you know, maybe I'll try and, I don't know, maybe it's been disconnected or switched off or something. I'm not sure. I mean, it's just, this is going to be a long distance tourer for me, this thing. I'm going to do some nice European road trips in this car, you know, for my holidays, but also for, you know, a ring trip in this car, which has to be done. It will be the fastest thing I've ever taken around the Nürburgring, I hope. But yeah, cup holders, amazing. It's so comfortable as well. So comfortable. I love it. It's got a pen and everything. Is that a Porsche pen? Oh, it is. Amazing. Now, in order for me to enjoy this trip home, I need tunes. Now, I noticed in the glove box when I bought this car that there was this thing. This is an iPod connector, and if can I remove that? Yeah, I don't have like an iPhone, but I looked at this online and then spent the total of £6 on this sort of Chinese thing here, which is definitely not going to work and is going to set fire to the car. But allegedly the idea is that I plug this into that there, and that becomes a Bluetooth connection. I plugged it in and it's now flashing blue and red. Make sure that's on.
Okay. Farah is an ambassador for it. He's got
Radio 1, cool. Let's try and connect to iWave, whatever that is. Pair. Why has that just disappeared off my thing? Okay, now where's aux? That's ABBA Dancing Queen. I promise you now, that's not from my phone. ABBA Gold, whatever you're into, you know. Where's auxiliary then? Where's iPhone? Don't know where the iPod button is. I can't work it out. It's, I think this has been added into, sorry about that. This has been added into where CD number 6 would be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It says aux audio, CD this. I think that's what's happened, but the parrot doesn't work. That's getting power, but I don't know if it's connected properly or whatever, because there's nothing coming out at all. I'm bored of playing with that. I want to drive this thing. I just want to listen to the exhaust anyway. So I'm going to enjoy the rest of my day cruising back home, and I'm going to pick this up when I'm next in the workshop. I decided, because I'm a bit of a plate knobhead, as you can see here on the Land Rover Discovery, this was, my family bought this number plate for me. I got them all to club together one Christmas to get me this number plate, and it was, at the time when I used to sell cars from here, it was Ben Molesworth Motor Cars, BMM. And I just, yeah, it was great. So that was on the Discovery, but I thought I would get one for the Porsche. So I gave the Porsche a big wash, the first wash I did by myself since I got the car, and I thought it was a good opportunity because I was about to drive it home for Christmas. This is December the 20th, I think you're looking at here. I thought I'd get a plate for it and put it on. This plate, C25TCS, and if you're wondering what that stands for, the C25 is Carrera 2S, and the TCs is obviously Taste Classics. So I think it looks absolutely mint with a plate on. I don't really like the KU08. KU's definitely not a local, KU is down south. It's not a local reg to us, so I wanted to sort of get rid of that anyway and get my own stamp on it, but I think it looks mint. What you don't want to do is rag the knackers off this thing from cold, because that's where the sort of bore score stuff will really happen, right? So there's a couple of cool bits on this dashboard here, right? That's your oil pressure there, which is always a good idea to keep your eye on, because you're just making sure there's plenty of oil in the car and all that sort of stuff, because this doesn't have a dipstick. It tells you, I'll show you now, look. When you put the ignition on, oil measure duration, 29 minutes. That time goes down the hotter the car is, but from cold, you can't really check where the oil's at unless you wait. It's very, very annoying, I know. So, fire up again. Service now, look. So, what I do is I wait till that gets to the middle, that's your water temperature, and then this little chap in the corner, this is your oil temperature. Maybe you can see that there, but that, I wait till it gets to where it sort of sits, which is between 90 and the one above it there. And then when that's all like that, you can use all of this bit, which is fun, all the way down to about here, 7,250, something like that it'll take you to. And all the way up there on that one. Very nice. Not that I've been anywhere near that yet, but I have got quite close. This is a beautiful little seaside village of Tenby, which I've just spent a couple of days with some friends down here, and it's my first chance to really give this Porsche some beans and just have a nice long drive in it. I've almost done 2,500 miles in this thing now. It's January, I got the car mid-November, and I'm just loving every time I drive it, it's brilliant, but this particular trip down has been like amazing. I've really, really enjoyed it, just because the roads that go from North Wales to South Wales are pretty good. And it goes like a stabbed rat as well. Oh, good Lord. It's amazing how quickly it got to 60 miles an hour then, isn't it? It's an epic sound system, and I've managed to get that sort of Bluetooth dongle thing working now, so I can play my tunes through the car, and it cost me £4 or £6 or something to do that. It's for nothing. Everything's like, and I've got all my buttons and everything work on there. It's superb, really, really good, and it means I can listen to podcasts and things. Draft, so I had 6 pints last night. Yeah, just to make sure. Like that one there, that's the Wheels and Wings podcast. If you ever want to watch, if you ever want to listen to that, the link is in the description of the video. It's quite good sometimes. Depends how drunk we get, really, to be honest. I've found this nice stretch of clear road. Let's have a little play with this sports chrono thing. This little lever down here does a few things, but mainly you can find the chrono setting through there. And if you just push it down, it starts timing. And can you see the little clocks going? And then stop. And I'm going to use this now to see how fast the car goes to 60. Okay? Oh, sounds so good. Right, just wait for a bit of... Okay, clear road. I had to change gear. How can I press the button and change gear at the same time? Right, well, we'll try that again when I find another place. Clanging in. We're in Wales, boy. We're in the valleys. And I've got 4-hour drive of roads like this, which is pretty fun. And is why I decided to go the long way home. If you're watching this in like Germany or America or somewhere else, you know you have like, in Germany you have autobahns which are like unrestricted. Well, these kind of roads here, these are like our autobahns. So you can go as fast as you want, but it's all about how brave you are, because you've got absolutely no idea what's going to be around the corner, and it could be a tractor with its bucket up in the middle and it'll just slice your head off, like, you know, when you're cracking an egg. A boiled egg for your dipping soldiers. But thankfully the brakes on this car are really, really good. So this is one of the only sort of big issues with Wales now, is this is a 20-mile-an-hour zone. And it's just, it makes no sense whatsoever, really. Because what happens is you end up getting bored, and you start looking around, and then you just, like, you'll drift into the middle of the road like that, and you'll just have a head-on crash with someone, because you just got so bored, because you just look at it like, oh, that's a nice house there. Oh, isn't it lovely, isn't it? Bang! You know, it's no good. Like, what's down there? Oh, well, that's nice. Oh, bang! Dead. Because you weren't paying attention. Oh, I'm supposed to go down there. Look at this road now sweeping up there. How cool is that? So nice. And I know that looks like we're doing more than 60 mile an hour, but we're not. That was 60 mile an hour exactly. It's so weird, isn't it? It just looks faster on camera. I don't know why. It's like I've sped up the footage or something. I grew up sort of, you know, driving on roads like this. I lived in Wales for most of my sort of youth, driving youth. And it was just, roads like this were everywhere, and I was constantly on them in loads of different types of cars, just doing crazy things. And I don't know, it was just the absolute best, really. It really was. And getting to do this today in a Porsche 911, it's nice, right? It's really, really nice. Really nice to be able to do it. I remember doing this in things like, you know, Fiestas and Novas and just, you know, Mark II Astras and stuff, and yeah, here I am a few years later in a 911 doing it. 3, 2, 1. Was that, say, 6.2 seconds? I don't think that speedo there caught up with the 60 fast enough. Does that make sense? Because it was doing it in blocks of 5 mile an hour. I needed to look at this one, really. I'm going to review the video footage and see what the video footage says, and I can also see my speed down here, which again is a little bit delayed, but I think it should be quicker than 6.2, what is it, 6.21 seconds.
Every move is so direct.
alas, it's time to get my hands dirty. Where I stand now, I've just got back from Tenby in this car, and it was absolutely filthy, as you can see here, and I've now washed it. That's the second time I've washed it since in 2,500 miles, but it's looking amazing. Still looks really good. I've just ordered a touch-up pen kit because just here I'm starting to pick up a couple of little stone chips, but not only there, down here and stuff, I'm starting to get some stuff. So I just want to get these bits, a little bit of paint protection on these, and down here as well, you can see some of that's going to polish out, but I just want to make it look a little bit nicer and make sure there's nothing else that would benefit from a bit of a touch-up. But yeah, it's amazing, things are going well, but as I've been driving it and using it and sort of visiting Porsche to pick up parts and stuff, I've been amassing some things, and we're going to fit those now. I've just opened her up dead quick, just to sort of clean all these bits, make everything nice. It's looking good, isn't it? Pretty decent nick. Now let's go through this massive pile of stuff then. The basic bits are, we're going to do a service on the car, right? That's pretty straightforward. We've done that before on cars, we can do it on this one too. That box there is full of the correct oil for this car. That big tub there is full of the correct coolant. 20 litres of it, in fact. 20 litres concentrate of it, in fact. How much do you think I spent on both those two tubs there? Well, I'll tell you, 250 quid. I bought them from Porsche, and the reason I bought them from Porsche was because one of the worst things you could ever spend your life doing is Googling what oil does my car take. You will get a million different answers from a million people, 999,000 of which have no idea what they're talking about. It's the easiest way to do it is to go to Porsche and get the stuff from them. You don't really pay that much more anyway. You're kind of paying roughly the same as you know, what you'd be paying in like Halfords, for example, or Euros or something, maybe a little bit less, but you know you're getting the right stuff. So remember me saying about the bore score thing? Well, getting the right oil for the car, unfortunately didn't have any of these in the 5 litres, only in the 1 litres, but it worked out pretty much the same, gave me a bit of a discount. Amazing guy called Lee. Just talked to me for ages, and I'm going to go through some of the other stuff that he recommended to me. But yeah, it's just, this is what Porsche wants you to put in their car. So put it in. This car does suffer from the bore score things, and I want to do everything in my power that I can to avoid that, because if that goes wrong on this car, I'm staring down the barrel of a 10 grand bill. So I really want to try, you know, spending 250 quid on oil and coolant and this other thing here is, you know, it's money well spent, isn't it, really? So anyway, this is Mobil 0W40, and it just says Advanced Synthetic Technology Engine Oil. Pretty good. So why is there this massive, oh my God, it's huge. Why is there this massive thing of coolant that's got Porsche written on it? Well, when I was in Porsche, speaking to Lee and saying, look, you know, anything you could recommend for me to keep this car good? And he was like, well, what are you going to do with it? And I'm like, well, I'm daily driving it. I'm sort of, you know, doing, it's going to be treated well, but it's going to be treated hard, you know? And I'm going to take it to the Nürburgring. I'm going to do all this sort of stuff with it. So he said, well, because of the bore score thing, you want to try and keep this engine running at the right temps, because that way the oil will work properly and everything will be harmonious. So in order to do that, we've got all of this. And this is what we're going to fit to this car. And I'll be honest, I'm absolutely dreading it, because I'm going to have to take most of the front end of my car apart, and I'm dreading it, right? So, but we're going to do it anyway. What it is it is an extra radiator, okay? You get all these pipes. He says it's just plug and play. You've got all the fixings in there, all the screws, nuts and bolts. And apparently it's just plug and play. Extra air dam scoop. And the idea is that on Porsches, right, you've got one radiator there and you've got one radiator there, and they go down into these scoops, which is fine for tooting about. but nothing happens in the middle here. And what you can do is add a radiator in to this middle bit here and just connect it to those two radiators. It's very, very straightforward. It just gives you, that fell on the floor, additional cooling. And that will help keep the car, if I'm going to track it, if I'm going to take it to the Nürburgring in the height of summer, it's going to make things better. The total kit in itself was 140 quid. How good's that, really, in the scheme of things? 140 quid, considering that it's all genuine Porsche stuff, it's all, you know, very, very high quality. 140 quid is next to nothing, really. The coolant is the same as that. And what this is going to enable me to do is change all the coolant in the car as well and make sure it's all spot on. But it's very difficult to do because you have to use vacuum suction stuff to put the coolant in, so you're not getting any airlocks and things, because the radiators are in the front and the engine's in the back, and there's 6 miles of pipes going from the front to the back that you've got to try and get all the air out of. It's complicated. I've never done it before. And yeah, we're going to do it in this video. Great. He also said one of the things that people do, which is really beneficial, is to get these grills. It probably doesn't come as like much of a surprise of where this has actually placed on the Tower of Power. I did it off the frames in the video because I need to just like get better kit. I don't know, what is that thing that the CarWow guy uses? He has like a little machine and it does all the, he just presses a button and it records everything for him. I need one of those. So, Porsche 911, 3.8 C2S 2008. Where did it land on the Tower of Power? Well, I did it in 5.04 seconds. The official time for this car is 4.6 seconds, right? I think I probably could have done that if I'd have just, you know, we had a bit of traction control, we had other stuff going on. I could probably have got there, I would have thought. It wouldn't have taken too much to get an extra 0.45 seconds off that. So I'm very, very happy with that. How long do you think that's going to stay there for? Do you think we'll ever get anything on this channel that's going to beat that? I don't know, who knows, maybe. I'm just putting my stamp in the book now. I'm covering my stamp up because it's got my address on it. 77742, it's on now. And I've written third rad fitted in middle. Now, this one here, Stone Limited Porsche, oh GT1, sorry, Limited Porsche Specialist. I'm reading this from the back of the camera, it's difficult to see. 62,596 was when it had a major service, had the drive belt changed, spark plug changed, all of the good stuff, and the stuff that I don't do on this channel, even to £25,000 Porsches. So that's all good. I was going to give this to someone, a Porsche specialist, and let them do it all, but I thought it'd make, you know, interesting viewing, and seeing as I do it for YouTube, I thought might as well put my sort of car where my mouth is or something and do it all myself. I'd rather be working on old Austin Allegro or something if I could really, you know, if I had a choice. All good services start with an inspection and pouring a load of screen wash into the passenger footwell. Full. That's the battery there, look, that's where that lives, for perfect weight distribution. What I can't seem to find right now is a lock and wheel nut. Get that leaf out of there. What's in here? This is your little triangle, if you break down, I think. Is there anything? Oh, come on. Come to daddy. And that's what you need if your tyre goes bang. And that's a towing eye. God, we've got everything we need for a track day. I wonder what's in there. I don't want to look. And that looks like some sort of very significant electronic device. I'm just taking the wheels off. Possibly, maybe the last time these wheels go on this car. But what I just wanted to show you briefly is look at the bloody size of them. They're massive. Look at the size of the things, they're huge. How blooming cool. These are, it's got Continentals all round, so I might nick these tyres for the new wheels if they fit, but these are 295s. Proper big wide tyre. I need to get this floor painted again. It's picking up, all the paint keeps coming off. partly because the Jag leaked everywhere, poisonous, toxic things, and anyway, made all the paint come up. But yeah, these are super good and super clean. I'm taking loads of photos of them and stuff because I'm hoping I can get a few quid back for these, because I need to replace them with a different wheel. Got to get the Lobsters, man. Worth mentioning as well, just before I leave these wheels behind, I'll try and flip the camera over, but yeah, I think all Porsche wheels, specifically of this era, are BBS, which is really cool, isn't it? Do like BBS stuff. Inside here is very nice. No corrosion or anything, which is good. It's not as clean as I'd like. I would like to have got this a little bit cleaner, really. So I'd like to, I think maybe when this is done, I'll get it onto the flat out there and we'll jack the car up and take the wheels off and jet wash and clean with the brush, really get in there, the wheel arches sort of one at a time, and just give the wheel arches proper clean because there's loads of salt on the roads at the moment. I've been thinking about trying that Lano Guard stuff, just on this. So maybe we could do that at the same time, I don't know. But thankfully, nothing looks rusty and everything looks in superb condition. Nice shiny red calipers, looking nice. And the discs, I mean, the discs are phenomenally good. There's no lip on that. I'm sure he said he'd replaced these before I got it and then not done any miles. Pads as well. Let me get my torch. Excuse all that dirty water, but the pads are meaty as you like. So I've got loads of life in these, and I think it had a brake fluid change at the time as well, and surely they would have used sort of high temperature stuff. Yeah, similar story here. Bit more of a lip on the back discs, but nothing to write home about, and nice, evenly matched and everything across there. Everything seems to be doing its job. When it's up in the air, I'll have a look at the back, but they seem to be fine. In the back here, it's a similar story, just lots of mud and things, so I'd like to get that addressed. And there's a bit of a coating on everything as well, a bit of rust protection. That's the darker stuff there. But really good. No corrosion on anything, which is just a dream. Brake pipes looking mint. Brake hoses looking mint. Potentially bought quite a good one. Thank God. Right, let's get her fully up in the air. I'm just going to inspect the other side first, then we'll get her up in the air and see what she's like underneath. First thing, it's just like a Formula 1 car or something. Look at the flat floor. It's just completely flat. How cool. It's massive as well, this car, yeah? It's really big. It's not a small car at all. It's really big. And this is just pure flat aerodynamic-y stuff and protection stuff under here. It's amazing. I love it. In the back, the thing's really clean. Really, really clean. It's just in lovely condition everywhere. The exhausts are immaculate. Look at the exhausts, they're so good. They look like they'd be, you know, if you wanted to change them for something really loud, it looked like it'd be a fairly straightforward job, really. But there should be valves on these somewhere. Where would they be? Where is the valve? Where's the valve? They're going to be up there somewhere. But yeah, the valves, when you press the buttons on the dashboard, the valves open and it starts going bomb and sounding really cool. But yeah, it's in superb condition. I would like to give this a bit of undercoating, a bit of undersealing, because I'm going to use this year round. So I'm going to get on the internet, I'm going to buy some of that Lano Guard, which I always said, stick to what I know, stick to the wax oil, but the wax oil's black, and you get clear wax oil. Maybe I do the wax oil instead. Stick to what I know. I do know wax oil, it's really good. I'll make my mind up later and then we'll find out what I've done. But I'll have to give this a proper another clean outside before I apply it. I'd love a ramp outside, that'd be really good. But hopefully when there's some nicer weather before the end of this video, we'll get it up in the air and we'll clean it and apply some stuff. But it's really nice, all the sills and everything. I mean, they're just superb. Everything's really good. Really, really nice. I've got such a good one. I'm so pleased with my purchase. I did do quite a bit of research to get this car. And I'm glad I did. It won't let me do this by hand, will it? Oh my God, it did. It's amazing. Delicious. Managed to do that without getting any... Oh no, I didn't. It's weird, isn't it? It's like changing oil on this car is just like changing the oil on any other car. Yet in your head you're like, oh, it's a Porsche. Oil filter looks, yeah, whatever. Thankfully not very metallic-y, which is definitely a good thing. Oh dear. Oh. See the dust come off that then? Bloody hell. Oh, so good. Almost didn't get any on my fingers, almost. Interesting thing I've just noticed is there's no copper washer on that. It's just as it is. Should there be a copper washer on it? I would have thought it would, but maybe not. This is a big stack of magnets I've got in my hand here. This is a little trick you can do to see if you've got metal shavings in your oil. You see if you can move the oil stream. That's a big, massive, heavy stack of magnets. And it's having zero effect, which is great news. I've just checked, and sat perfectly in there was this alley washer, which is pretty cool. So I'm just going to flip it around and put it back. No, I'm not. I'm going to put another one on, brand new one. Genuinely, I am. Honestly, I'm going to do that now. I'm not going to record it because it's boring, but I'm going to. What you're looking at here is one of the nicest and most sort of well thought out engine bays in the world. For a couple of reasons. First of all, it's got its own little light, same as my F250 outside. Everything else is like, it looks like a nightmare to you. I bet you look at it and go, oh my God, I don't want to work on that. But imagine if you've got to do an alternator, you've got to remove a couple of bits of plastic and it's there. Your belt's there, you know, other stuff, you know, your rocker covers and that, you don't really need to get into. And if you do, I mean, well, good luck. But, you know, all the sort of service items and stuff are at the front. And most Porsches have amazing oil filler systems, like this one here, which just lifts up. It's supposed to be clicked in better than that, but I've just removed it. But yeah, it just clips in, and then it's a little funnel. So you don't have to worry about spilling it everywhere. It's just so clever. Everything's just so well thought out, isn't it? Right, I bet you do use two hands on that. But yeah, really, really nice. Little fan and stuff. It's just awesome. So, so, so cool. Look, Mobile 1. That's what they want you to use. That's what I'm using. I don't know how much oil it takes. I should probably have a look, which I will do in a moment. It's annoying though, because you never really truly get all the oil that's in it out. So, and it takes ages for the car. Ignore all that mayonnaise in there. That's what happens when cars sit and don't run. It says it's supposed to have 8 litres, which just doesn't sound right. Anyway, another way you can work out how much oil to put in is the oil that you've just taken out. Because what I tend to do is I take the oil that is used from cars down to the tip in the old oil bottles. So my little oil drainer here has got a little spout on it, right? See that level there? If I fill that up using the old oil, I can see exactly how much I've taken out. Does that make sense? Lovely stuff. Now, using my filling up the old bottles method, it's taken 8 of these things. It says in the book it's supposed to take 8 and a bit, 8.25, but I've also read 8.7, and Googling anything to do with oil and reading forums is just, it's a pit of despair. It's so bad. Everybody's got a different answer. There's people out there on forums that will see someone give an answer and go, no, and give a different answer, even though they don't really know what they're talking about. It's weird. It is weird. I don't know where they're getting the knowledge from. It should always be just one answer for everything. Crazy. Anyway, I need to change the air filter now, and then we'll see what the level says on the dash. Just got to figure out now where the Luft filter goes. Luft filter. After Googling it, it shows that you should take this whole thing out of the car and do it outside the car. So that's what we're going to do. But it looks like pretty straightforward. So unclip that, pull that thing off there. Whoa, look at that. I bet that would sound awesome if we just left it off. Can't really do that though, can we? And apparently it's on grommets or something. So you oh, there goes one. Oh, nice. Okay, lovely. And then what are we stuck on? Unclip. Electrical connector 1. This connector 2. And there's another electric connector there. And then apparently you can withdraw your unit. Something else holding it on, is there? But you said I could take you out. Steady. I've noticed there was, yeah, there's a vacuum line there. That's got to go back on. There's a vacuum thing here, so make sure we put that back on afterwards. And then this thing again. How did I open that? Right. Oh, whoa, look at all the stuff. Look at all these items. This belt looks in good nick. Everything's nice. Oh yeah, look at all these. So that's the vacuum line that goes on there. So I've got to make sure I put that back on and clip that back on as well. How cool is this though? Blom! 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 I feel like a Porsche technician using my machine to take these things out. This is so good. And it saves so much time. And she's free. Wow. And that air filter does. It does look like it's due a change, doesn't it? Look at the state of the bloody thing. Glad we did that. That's good. Nice. That was so straightforward. Right. She's all back together. And looking superb. That took mere seconds. Oil level, perfection. Really, really pleased with that, to do that. Well pleased. Tools required, jack and axle stands, wheel brace, torque wrench, Torx bits, T25, T30, tape, drill, screwdriver, Phillips, cable tie or hook, cloth, bubble wrap. Bubble wrap? There was no instructions with the middle radiator, and it's interesting thing about that middle radiator was the Porsche have never really sort of truly got to grips with the bore score issue on these cars with these engines. It affects quite a few cars, but 911s mainly, 3.6s and 3.8s. The bore score thing, Porsche say, affects 10 to 15% of cars. That's their official sort of word on it. And so that's them basically going, doesn't happen to everyone. It's nothing to do with us. See you later. This kit though, for the middle radiator, that is Porsche developed. And they've never sort of released it and gone, this is what you need to help the cooling on the car so you don't get bore score or anything. It's a bit of a silent, sort of thing that they're doing. It's sort of like, you can have this, you can use it, but we're not officially going to sort of put anything out there. So they're not sort of doing instructions on it or anything. It's just, it's an odd one. It's kind of like they're helping out the owners without helping them out. I don't know, it's weird, but it's cool. Because imagine how much it'd cost them if they had to do like a recall for bore score stuff. It'd be a nightmare for them, wouldn't it? But thankfully, they put this little kit together, and I'm hoping with this one, we're not going to have those kinds of troubles. But job number 1, remove wheel arch liners. Okay, the wheel arch liners are held in with a load of these things, and I really hope they come out. Oh, nice, they do as well. Well, wondered. Oh, that sounded nice, didn't it? Ah ha 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 ha! One very dirty and full of crap wheel arch liner. I'm going to give these a good jet wash before they go back on. That's very cool. You can sort of see all the fan and other bits, this metal bar here. Lots of good stuff. This is your radiator, one of the radiators. We're going to be adding another one in and cleaning all the crap out from in there. But yeah, nice. All in good nick, isn't it? Just looking at these pipes as well, he said just have a good look at all these pipes, make sure they don't look like they've been leaking or corroded or anything, and they all look fine. Next step, this little screw here. Oh, take that out. That's attaching the bumper to the wing. I've never worked on a car where screws have just come out of this, like in the wing. Every bumper to wing screw is usually a 2-day job. Involving welding and stuff, so that's pretty cool, isn't it? I think next we've got to take the side repeaters out. No, next step on the instructions was to take this one remaining screw from the centre out, and we're going to put it in this tray here. Goodbye. I've already done all this side, by the way. Just the same as the other side, just on a different side. With the front luggage compartment open, remove the aperture trim. What's an aperture? Gently lift off trim. Trim is attached with Velcro. Oh, cool. Starting from the most rearward parts of the side pieces and then the central most forward piece. Nice. Just pop that seal off there. That definitely felt a bit more mechanical than Velcro, didn't it? Oh, lovely. Try and make that all nice. God, it's in really good shape, this car. It really is. I'm just going to give all the latch and stuff a quick dribble of the Weiss Schmeißerfit, just because I can now fully see it. Alright, so now I've got to take these 3 screws out. Smart little Milwaukee, this, isn't it? Just, it's an M12 BSD. If you needed to know. Next step, if you can see that black thing there, it's got a hole in it. That's a bumper retaining clip. And apparently you've got to pull that out with some force. And I don't want to scratch and make a mess of all that sort of stuff. I'm going to try and find a smaller hook. But you've got to pull those out, apparently. That's a good way to do it. Punch your hand back that way, just tap it while you're holding onto the thing. And then you don't damage anything. Nice! I remember when I was looking at how to do this and I saw those clips and I thought, I bet they're going to be corroded as hell and all rotten and difficult and everything, but that was so easy. Look at that mud, that was so easy. Right, this blue clip here, it says to take off, and that's the headlights washer pipe. Grab yourself a vessel. I've chosen this Volvic bottle. Just put that there for a second. And it does say just pull it up. Do that. I hope that doesn't drain all of the fluid. Stop now, please. But I'm using this clean Volvic bottle so I can just pour it straight back in again. Why not? Yeah, it's slowing down. Okay, okay. Why is it not stopping? Crap. Oh, God. Shit, what shall I get? Why is this not stopping? Surely it's not emptying the entire thing, because the cap's only there. Okay, I thought we were friends. Obviously not. Okay. 3rd screen wash bottle. Wish I just got a bucket now. Save myself so much time. Right, it then wants me to disconnect these electrical connectors, which is really easy when you can't feel your fingers anymore. How does that connect to there then? I'm definitely going to snap something in a second. I can feel it. Why make it like so awkward? It wants to stay where it's been for the last 20 years. Oh God, come on. Can't get a purchase on anything. Can't feel fingers. This is not the fun bit. Oh, thank God for that. Right, okay, there's a large bit of carpet underlay there, and it says you should just be able to ease the bumper off. Hang on, there's more screws. Ha! Hidden screws up inside that black plastic thing that you can't see. These just push out from the back, and a little electrical connector there. Nice. Okay, what about now? Oh, 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 oh. Movement. Steady. Oh yeah, electrical connectors. Oh, bollocks. Oh, nice. Oh no, it's just the one big one. Got to get it past the rad though. Yeah. Oh. I did it semi-professionally. So much crap in there. Give all that a wipe down before it all goes back on. Looks like a Volkswagen Beetle down here, doesn't it? Because of this radiators and stuff. Radiator is here. What happens is, and one of the reasons we've bought these grills is that, I don't know how well you can see down there, but all of those leaves, they gather, they go through the bumper and they just sit down there. And because I'm driving this car all the time, it's gonna, if this keeps happening, the leaves are gonna sort of decompose down there, or compost, or whatever you want to call it, and they'll rot the bottom of that radiator out. They'll completely rot it out because it'll just be a right old mess. So that's why we're putting those grills on. It's to stop leaves gathering down there. So to sort that out, I'm going to have to take this plastic shielding thing off, which I think I'm going to have to do anyway, and then clean all that stuff out when I'm in there. Oh my God, look at all the items falling out. That is not cool. So much rubbish all inside there. Can you see that? Starting to, because the guy didn't really use this much, so thankfully there's only been crap getting in here since November. But I needed to rectify that. I needed to make sure that didn't happen. Keep these screws separate for this, and then give these bits a good clean. Give all this a good clean. I'm going to blow the radiator through with my air gun. So many dead animals just in there. All this stuff, all because those holes on the front of the bumper are open. Get a grate on there and you won't get any of that crap in there. You might get some, but you won't get the big leaves and things in there. Radiator's looking really good condition though. Apparently it just sits like that, and you put the tiny little screws into there, because it's all just plastic, hard sort of ABS plastic, so that's what you do. And then when they're on, as you can see, it's going to stop all of the pigeons and sparrows getting sucked in to your radiator, which is great news. And then we're going to be doing the next step once these grills are on, which is getting this third radiator in. It's going to be easy, isn't it? It really is as straightforward as that. Just 3 self-tapping screws into the back, and now no more debris is going to fly through there. Really pleased with that. What a great little 50 quid mod. I'm going to do the rest of this tomorrow because it's late on in the day. I'm very exceptionally cold. So it's time to down tools, let everything dry overnight, big sweep up, tidy up in the morning, and then we're getting cracking with all that. I'm hoping it's a fairly simple sort of plug and play thing. I can see that there, and that is a stopper, that's a blank. So I think it just taps straight into this radiator. I don't know how on the other side, but I don't know, unless it goes, attaches, I don't know, but we're going to have to work it out for ourselves because there's no instructions. Easy. Right, okay, yeah, let everything dry, see you in the morning. Ça va, it's me, voiceover Ben. I'm just polishing the car. I'm sticking some super resin polish on it just to make it a bit more protected for all this winter sort of stuff. I'd like to have a proper ceramic coating and stuff done at some point, but until then, a nice lick of super resin will be good. Also, while I'm doing this, it's worth mentioning, if you want to go to this website, there is cool hoodies and hats, and we just put a big new sort of range of stuff out, which is why the Tasty Classics logo is on my back all of a sudden as well. But if you want to go on there and buy some stuff, you can. It's some very good stuff. It's all good quality, very warm and nice. I've just put a lick of polish on the old Porsche, just to sort of try and warm me up, mainly, because it's 2 degrees and very foggy outside. Yes, very pea soup, reduced visibility. I've used Autoglim Super Resin, which is the best polish. So good, in fact, that it's got the crest on it, which I think means the Queen, God rest her soul, used to brush her teeth with it. And yesterday, I fitted these things. Very swanky grills. My intelligence, though, is limited. And what I did is I bought 2 for the sides, and it just didn't occur to me to buy one for the middle. Now, this middle bit is going to be deleted. We're going to be getting rid of this big plastic bit. It's going to have a hole there for the air to go through. But obviously, all the leaves and stuff will go through there, won't they? And they'll hit that radiator, which is not ideal. So I went to Halfords this morning and bought this aluminium mesh, a metre of it, and we're going to make our own. It was only, I think, 25 quid with a trade card. So I'm going to make my own, mould it into shape, which should be fine. I did have a look online. I could get one for 55 quid that was already made, but we'll have a go. I always tend to make a real hash job of stuff like that, so I'm going to really try and not to. Right. There's not that many pieces, really. I always find in jobs like this that you go for the bits that you sort of can do stuff with and reduce the amount of things you've got, and it'll all start to make sense. The 2 pipes there, loads of nuts and bolts and things, and this is another brand new reservoir, coolant reservoir cap, because the old ones are a little bit susceptible to going wrong and leaking. So I've got a new one of those from the guy at Porsche as well. He told me to get one. So I did. I don't know what it was, like 7 quid or something. Amazing. In here then, there's this thing, which I think just unclips on these clips here. So yeah, I'm going to get a flathead screwdriver and I'm just going to do that dead fast. Oh, nice. What's that pipe do? Headlight washers. That's that then. It's quite a nice thing. Keep that. Big smile. Right, and I imagine this bit here replaces it. It's not rocket science, is it? Get that pipe back in there. Oh, did you hear that satisfying click? Oh, another click. Oh yes, look at that. Porsche stuff's built so well. Okay, so now, where there wasn't a hole, there is now a hole. It's quite nice because the centre one's the same mesh but slightly bigger, so it could be like I don't know, like a turbo wood or something. So we'll use that edge that's already there. You can make it as easy or as hard as you want, I think, with stuff like this. I'm making it as hard as possible. Nice, look at that. That is pretty much a grill. Right, and then we self-tap this into place and trim it down. I think that's the idea. Oh, what do we think? I genuinely couldn't be happy with that. That was only took 10 minutes. Oh, and it looks essence. So pleased. It's just nice as well because it's slightly bigger in the middle and then it goes to the two same ones on the outside. It kind of looks like it's meant to be like that, which is really nice. Such a nice job. So that now is going to stop any leaves penetrating my bumper and making my radiators sad. So really, really pleased with that. That is one of those things to stop the bore score. I keep saying bore score, and there's possibly some of you out there going, what the hell is bore score and why do you keep saying it? Just another way of saying your engine's eating itself. Your pistons are inside cylinders, and the cylinder walls and the pistons are just a tiny, you know, hair's width apart, and they go up and down and oil goes around them and it's just harmonious, it's great. But what happens on these cars and some of the other Porsche models as well is if circumstances sort of change and the oil might get a little bit too hot, which is why I added another radiator to keep the engine cool and therefore keeping the oil cool, the oil will start to not do its job properly, and instead of making this lovely cushion where the piston moves up and down, you will get a situation where the piston is touching the sides of the cylinders, right, as it's going up and down and scratching away at the cylinder wall. And over time, that will lead to very nasty noises and lots of smoke coming out the back of the car. And what you have to do to fix it is to completely rebuild the engine. It's expensive, it's very, very time consuming, and I don't want it to happen to that. Very, you know, taking an engine out of that and then taking it off somewhere and getting it fully rebuilt, putting it back in, big job, right? So I'm trying to do everything I can to stop that happening. And that means keeping the oil perfect in the car, the right temperatures, adding things like these grills to stop leaves clogging up. You know, imagine if it sucked a Carrera bag in one day when I'm going around a, you know, a track or something, or I'm driving it really hard in the middle of summer and then the engine gets hotter than it should, the oil gets hotter than it should, stops working like it should and starts scratching away at the cylinder walls. Gonna have a bad time. So I'm doing everything I can to avoid that happening. Hello, it's me again. Just while I'm taking the polish off this Porsche, I want to say a huge thank you to all of the Patreoners. They're just absolutely amazing. They keep this channel going. So a massive thank you to all of the new ones as well as the old ones. Now the new ones, I'm going to save your names and they're going to go on the next Left 4 Dead car, which I'm working on at the moment. But in this video, we're going to put the names of every single Patreon for Tasty Classics, and thank you so much. Shiny. I found a man with a plan. Thankfully, there is a bit of a walkthrough on how to do this on Google, and this is what you need to search for to find that exact walkthrough. I'll put it up here, type these words into Google, and you will be able to find that walkthrough if you want to do this job, because I mean, I could probably guess, but it's nice to sort of see someone else who's done it and sort of gone through any pitfalls. He does do something slightly different with filling the coolant, which we're going to go on to when I fill the coolant on this. But the first thing he says to do is to take this big bar off. There's a hole there to put a pipe into, and somewhere on that one, there it is, there's a hole there. And he says to make access easier, take your horn bracket off. So I'm going to do that as well. Next he says test fit this together. It'll sit on there. Right, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to try that again, but I'm going to put the radiator in the right way round. Very easy mistake to make, but you can see how there's two big holes there. Yeah, and then that crushes down onto those. Those go through there. Put that bolt back in. Right, so it's the two smallest bolts that go in there. That's fun, isn't it? So the two smallest bolts that you get with the kits go into the support bracket there. I don't know if I'm supposed to be tightening these down yet, but I'm going to do it anyway, because that's just how I roll, man. Upon offering it up to the car, you can see the tapped holes, the captive nuts, and these screws, everything's already there. This is superb. And the one, is that right down there? Yeah, and the one down there. So everything's all ready to go, but I don't know if I want to do that yet. We'll worry about this bit later. See how your nuts are all there and everything's already there? It's decent. Now these, apparently it's dead straightforward. This is where the pipes just push fit and you push the clip back on. So what I'm going to do is take that off, and then a lot of the coolant is going to drain down. But before I do that, I just want to remove this cap here so that it's not going to sort of create a vacuum and stay up there. Looks in good nick though, that, doesn't it? It's so easy with holding the camera at the same time. Ah! Caught it. Oh, looks in really good nick. Great colour. Just put that there, just to stop it filling whatever this thing is here up with coolant. Put a bit of card there. Looking at the colour of this coolant and how nice everything is, and you know, nothing's corroded at all in there. Had I known it was going to be like that, which obviously you don't, do you? But had I known, what I probably would have done is sieved whatever I took out and put that back in, rather than buying 150 quid's worth of coolant. One of the reasons I bought that much coolant is it's concentrated, it's 20 litres, and that's all he had. He didn't have it in any other bottles or any other sizes. So I bought that much knowing that I can use it on loads of different things as well, because it's just pink coolant in it. So you can use that across all Volkswagens, Audis, you know, anything else like that that I get in, I can use this Porsche coolant for. So it's pretty cool, isn't it? Through a process of elimination, this is the pipe that goes there, and it sits like this. And because of these keyways here, it can only sort of go on one way and lock into place. So hopefully... Oh, did you see how well that clicked in there? It just went click. And then you push that back down, give it a little tug, and that's there. That's home. That's how it's supposed to be, apparently. Now, move the bucket to the other side, and I've got that one there, if you can see that, to take out. Slightly trickier. Oh. Almost caught everything then. Nice. Oh, look, there's a little hole there for it to drain into. That pipe is installed nervously. All I've got to do now is bolt this thing to the car, which take 2 seconds. It's 4 bolts, and push fit these into the back of here with the same sort of clip thing that you just pull down with 2 hands. And one thing that he did say as a top tip, and I would be inclined to agree, is because both of these are at the top here, you could pre-fill that radiator with coolant, which is pretty good. So I'm going to start mixing my coolant down there, and then we're going to fill the radiator with it. And then I'll put the radiator on. This is my only measuring device, is the ones I use for paint. I'm using hot water because my hands are cold, not because of anything else. It says use distilled water, but I haven't got any. 5. Okay, so that's 3 litres of water. Let's find 3 litres of coolant. Good job, it's really light, isn't it? Right, okay. God, why make such a heavy one? I'll put the bucket down here. Okay, so I need to do 6 of them into there. Steady. Oh, look how it pours, so nice, because it's got little vents on this side. Porsche are so clever. Ah, how'd you stop it though? Nice, hardly spilled any. Look at that colour. Amazing. like syrup. Ah. Okay, little pre-fill on this, no going back now. I'm gonna have to make more than what came out of it, obviously, because we're adding a radiator. Didn't think of that, did I? So you can hear bubbles coming out that side, and this is what you know, we're doing everything in our power not to have bubbles. I can see it there. That's good. Ignore that stuff running out the bottom. That's normal. Just put those there. Multiple hands. Just going to put a couple of these nuts in the bottom just to sort of make sure it doesn't fall off, so I can use my other hand. Okay, allegedly that's 1 in, and that's 2 in. It doesn't specify exactly which ones you should use, but I mean, these look kind of, everything looks dry. Might get the airline and just blow everything off so we know we've not got any leaks. Can see how nicely it all fits. Looks really, really good. Pretty smart. I'm just going to leave that for a bit now. I've just got something I've got to do quickly, so I'm going to leave that and let it sort of settle and anything else happen to it. And then we're going to fill the cooling system and bleed it up, and then build everything back up, see what happens. Just quickly as well, that's the new stuff there, that's the old stuff. There's definitely a difference, isn't there? And I think that's just old stuff has just turned that colour over time, but that is the colour it should be, which is really interesting, isn't it? So maybe don't sieve your old stuff and go and buy the new stuff. Okay, so this thing connects to the bumper, and it'll sit like that, and apparently it goes underneath here. God, everything is very straightforward. And then those tabs go around there. Literally just push fits. My nice smiley air like dam thing is all done. Right, I'm going to put these items back anyway because they're dead quick, and I'm going to loosely put the bumper on just so I can attach that big cable, because apparently if you attach that and you run the car, it'll put engine management lights on and stuff, which I don't want. So we'll loosely put the bumper on, plug that in, and then we're going to fill this coolant system up. I mean, that's the business. That is so blooming cool. I've now got to get my head around this thing, and I want to drain the rest of the coolant out of the car as well. There's a couple of drain holes for that in the back. So I've got this kit, and as you can tell, I've bought the most high quality one that I could buy and the most expensive one with all these hieroglyphics. But it's all this stuff, and you put this in, and then you do this and connect an airline, and easy, yeah? So straightforward. What's this for? What's that for? What are these doing here? A lot of the coolant pipes come into this bit of metal here, and there, which I've sprayed a little plus gas round, is a T30, one of these ones, drain plug for the coolant. So, and as the car's on the ramp as well, it is angled like directly towards this, which is great news. So I'm hoping we're going to get quite a bit from this now, and then we'll fasten that back up and we'll vacuum and fill the system. Thought it was going to round then. Oh. Definitely a good idea to stick a load of plus gas round it, I think. Has that got PTFE on it? It has. Or is that just corrosion, I wonder? Oh, perfect shot right into the bucket. Absolutely flying out of there. We're going to have to mix up so much more of that coolant to satisfy this, but look at it, tons of it. And this is a little plug, and I don't think it was PTFE, I think it was just corrosion. And look at this little washer around it there that's just falling to pieces. Can you see that? Completely corroded and dead. So I'm going to replace that with a little copper washer before I put it back on. All nice and clean, ready to put back in. Last few little drops and clean that surface as well. Look how much has come out of that. Loads of coolant. I mean, it's got a lot of, you know, lot of distance to travel. But yeah, it's loads. I'm glad I bought that massive tub there. Okay, so far, super straightforward. Flick that metal clip up there. I don't know if you can see that there. Flick that up. That's like a breather thing. And then we're going to create a vacuum. I don't know if do we do that now or do we do that after? Anyway, this machine creates the vacuum. You spin this thing round and it creates a seal on that, which is so cool. As I mentioned before, I have never done this. I've done the air stage and it's now holding at about -50 of pressures. And we're now ready to go to the coolant stage. So far, so good. And it's holding pressure, so that means potentially there's no leaks in the system, which is great. Anyway, let's connect the coolant and hopefully it'll flow through the hose into that thing. This has got a little filter on it as well because there's a couple of bits of muck dropped in there, but that should be fine. Submerge pipe in coolant all the way. Don't let it... You can't let it get any air into it, apparently, because otherwise you'll have a bad time. Cable on that, because it's all coiled up, it just wants to spring out everywhere. Just going to have to hold it with one hand. Surely it's going to suck that air in, though, isn't it? But maybe that air goes out of the bleeder thing. I don't know. Let's give it a go. Whoa, look at it. I can hear it just sucking the coolant in. Just looking at the pressure, making sure that stays green. It's just sucking it through, look at that. Can you see it? I can watch this thing go down. How do I know when it's full though? Right, there's a max mark there. This is potentially a much quicker way of filling the coolant system than the other way. And I'll just explain that when this is done. Because the guy on the forum that I got the walkthrough for that radiator from did it the old-fashioned way. And he had problems. It is just pouring the coolant in. Still got pressure. I think it's run out of pressure. I'm going to test that theory by lifting this up. Mind you, it's still pulling stuff down, I think. I think it's still taking coolant in very slowly. So if I lift this out... Oh yeah, it's sucking air in. Lock that off. See it's sucking air in then? So it was still sucking a little bit, but I can't do anything with that now. Okay. Do we... attach the airline again, build up a bit more pressure and then put some more in it? I don't really know how that works. Let me just read what this says. It said filling is done when this thing reaches 0, which it has done. That's the thing, by the way, you just turn that and it squeezes that. Oh, steady on. See, it's pretty much full there. You could just top that up because it's big. It goes all the way into this massive reservoir there. So I think you just pour some in there to top it up and then that's done. That's right on the max mark now. So I guess we're done. What I was saying about the guy who'd done it the old-fashioned way, and the old-fashioned way is to fill it up from here and then try and burp the air bubbles out by running the car, driving the cars, taking it around the block, coming back, filling it up again, doing the same, waiting for it to cool down, which takes ages to do and is a bit of a pain in the arse. Whereas this, it would seem, is the proper way of doing it. But I guess we'll tell when the car warms up and stuff. I think it's time to fire her up. One of the real annoying things about this car is you've got to put your foot on the clutch to start it. I hate cars that do that. Nice. I've got no funny lights or anything like that. Ooh. Actually sounds sweet. Close the little bleed valve thing on the header tank. I guess I'm just going to let it warm up for a minute and I'm going to check for any drips or leaks everywhere. And if I've got nothing like that, I'll put the front bumper back on. Keep your fingers crossed for me. I think we've reached a point of excellence at Tasty Classics now that I may never be able to achieve again. We're right in the middle on the temperature and we're at 90 on the oil temperature gauge, and the heaters are blowing nice and hot and the fans have just kicked in. I think we've done an incredible job. And the bumper, I'm just fitting everything back on now. All the panel gaps and stuff are superb. My grates and everything, it's a bit of a faff to get everything in position. You've got to really sort of pull on some stuff to do it. But it's just looking the bee's knees. Oh, might have to try and push that down a bit. I think I've pulled that up. Yeah, I'll try and push that down a bit. See there, it's come up. I've got no leaks from anywhere. Coolant's all nice. God, I should do this for a job, shouldn't I? Anyway, right, I'm going to put everything back together and have a bit of a tidy up. Shiny, shiny, shiny. So I'm just going to polish off all of my mucky handprints, the various places on the car. The washer fluid is full up. Everything else is back together perfectly. 0 nuts and bolts left over. Mechanic, yeah. So, I mean, that couldn't have really been any easier. I mean, obviously, I haven't driven the car yet. You know, I need to sort of go for a good blast in it and stuff and make sure everything's good. But as far as I can see, what a great job. And it was, what a great car to work on. Everything fits nicely and is just engineered superbly. Very, very nice. Getting the shakes though, I need to work on something old and British as fast as I can, really. It's the windiest day ever. I think is it Storm Areola or something? And it's like 115 mile an hour record winds or something. So anyway, we've still got to work. We're just doing what we're doing. Aled's here and we're doing a couple of jobs on his caddy, just giving it a service, and got to drill out these absolutely rusty screws there. Really, really annoying. Just turned to complete mush. So we just changed the air filter, we're getting all that done. So Aled's drilling those out. And I've been making an incredible mess of the floor. Because it's so windy and bad, I can't get the jet wash out. It's just we'd end up completely soaked, we'd be wearing it. So instead, I've cleaned all of the arches by hand and using, you know, spray water and stuff, but they're looking really, really nice. But I can see how corrosion is starting to happen on a few things. A lot of this car is aluminium, so I don't have to worry about it too much, but I would still like to give it that real nice extra bit of protection. This one's still drying over here, but this is all nice. And again, in the back there, and I've gone all the way up inside here, right into the arches and things as well. It's had quite a bit of protection on it before, but I just want to give it as much as I can, because I'm not, you know, I'm not going to park this thing in a garage. I'm not going to sort of not use it for the sake of, you know, a few months of salt on the roads. I am going to continue to use it. Not about keeping it nice for the next guy, is it, you know? And I've gone for wax oil as well. That's what I decided. This is your Hammerite wax oil. It's clear, and it's just sitting in a bath of hot water just to warm it up a bit, because it's freezing cold here at the moment. This is great stuff. There's lots of stuff you can buy in the market, right? And I say this a million times before in my videos. I will tell you and I will show you and I will use what I know and what I've seen the results of in the past. I've been doing classic cars for a very, very, very long time, and I've seen cars that have been parked for 40 years that have had wax oil on them, and cars that have been parked for 40 years and have had no coating on them or have had other things or whatever. The wax oil always works. It just lasts. And there's a lot of people saying, oh yeah, but rust sits behind it, water goes behind it. It's all rubbish. It's a real nice solid coating on the car. It's really good. I've never had any issues with it, and it works really well. And I've done some cars out there with some wax oil that in a year's time or a couple of years' time, we can go back and look at them, like the Spitfire, for example, and we'll have a look at what that's like, you know. But this is really good. I'm just going to let it warm up. We're going to transfer it to this vessel. We're not using the air gun to apply it because that'll just spread things out too much. I'm going to put a little bit of thinners in it just to make it a little bit easier, because again, it is quite cold. And then we're sort of going to give it all of these bits all up inside here as well. you know, all up inside this bit, give that a good go over. And I'm going to lift the car up in the air and do some of the chassis bits there as well. We've just done the oil change on Aled's van, and the wind, as the oil was draining, as soon as we took the thing off, the wind blew the oil out of the pan, all over the floor down there, all over my spanners. Nightmare. This is starting to take shape in the back though. I've just done one sort of coating of the wax oil. I just want to see what it looks like, but so far really nice. And yeah, I think I'm going to probably give it another coat maybe, but it's looking really, really good. And again, it's just that added level of little bit of protection from the salt, you know, but really nice. It's quite a wet substance, this, but it's good. If you're watching me do this in your sort of warm, in California, and you're going, why are you wax oiling your Porsche? They're made out of aluminium, they don't rust, man. This is the UK. Anything wood rusts in the UK if you leave it outside for long enough. Good stuff. I'm enjoying this. This is really smart. I'm feeling better about everything doing this. Just over the little screw heads and stuff. Very nice. I'm going to do the front as well. I'm trying to get behind the plastic bits as well and just pour a bit of stuff in there, but this is going to really make a difference. Oh, this is all done wax oil wise. I've just put loads on everywhere underneath these bits where they're going to get a bit of a seeing to as well, sort of really giving that some shtick, and then all up inside my areas. Until it goes clear, it sort of still looks a little bit yellow, but I think it does dry clear. I usually use the black stuff anyway, but this is going to be nice. And it just means this thing is an all-weather 911. I'm wearing my tinned fish reviews hat today because I've been fishing. Do you want to see what I've caught? Some shellfish. Whoa, mama! Look at these 4 whopping lobsters that I've got myself here. Oh, yeah! These were waiting for me on a pallet this morning when I came in, and I am so excited to get them bolted onto that. Look, the car's red. The car looks almost like a lobster. It needs lobster claws. These are, you know, they're just an iconic wheel. There's no other wheels that sort of look like that, whereas those over there, they're a great wheel, but it's just, I think, is it Superleggera? I can't remember the one. I'm not sure if it is, but it's just a generic multi-spoke wheel. It's just not, you know, anything could have those, but these are Porsche wheels. These are iconic, you know. Everybody knows them when they see them. And they're going to look amazing on this thing. The tyres are all absolutely superb. There's loads more tread on these tyres. I mean, tons more tread on these tyres than on mine over there. I mean, mine were much, much lower. I think I'm just going to get those straight on eBay and just get them gone, and then we can use these. But I'm going to take these for a decent spin first and just make sure that they're all circular and weighted properly and all that sort of stuff before I get rid of those, just in case there's anything up with these, again, any balancing issues or wobbles or anything, and then I can put those on and send these off to be refurbished if I need to, but I shouldn't do. These were so cheap. Right, look up 4 lobster claw wheels with tyres on eBay and you've got prices anywhere up to 4 grand. Some people are selling 1 wheel for £1,000, and I got these just because I emailed the company. I think it's TW Porsche in Brig. Emailed them and said, look, you know, do you want to do a deal with my wheels, blah, blah, blah. And they said, look, we'll just do you a discount on these. And I got them delivered on that pallet there for 750 quid, all in. I'm hoping to get more than that back for mine. I mean, I don't want to speak too soon, but potentially we've got the wheels that I really wanted. You know, the wheels that I wanted to make this my sort of dream 911. And it's going to end up being money back. Cost me less. That's good business. Nice, okay, hold that there. I'm so pleased. Right, I'm going to get these fitted, and I'm going to pull the car outside and we'll have a look at it properly. The 911 is sat there. The car I've wanted for a very long time is sat there. It's perfect. It's got all the bits. It's exactly how I envisaged it. That's what I wanted when I started looking ages ago, and I've got one and it's there and I love it and it's really, really good one. But when I treated myself to this car, I made sure before I did that everything else around me was okay and was looked after, and that included, well, and there was another car that I had to buy. If you're a viewer of the channel for a while, you'll know, well, you'll know the story behind what's about to appear now. Sometimes you've got to look after people around you. This is my mother, who you will probably recognise if you've watched the channel before.
Hello.
She loves Renaults and had the Renault Scenic that was just an absolute nightmare. And yeah, I put her in the Passat, which was crap, but it was only a stopgap while I sort of got the money together, partly for that car, but also for this one here. And now you're back in a Renault. This is a Renault Captur, little automatic diesel Renault Captur. Tried to find a petrol one but couldn't find one, so got a little diesel one. But how's it going so far? You've had it for 3-4 months?
Yeah, absolutely spot on, no problems whatsoever. It's lovely to drive. It's very nippy, fast.
Well, that's because
compared with any, you know, before I've had.
That's because they were all in limp home mode. You do know that, don't you? Yes, it doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, because it's not in limp home mode, and
yeah.
so I'm used to that.
It's good.
It's zooming off. It goes off before I do.
And you've had this one for like 4 months now, and you've not broken it yet, so that's pretty good.
No scratches, no marks, no dents.
It's really impressive. That is really impressive.
Trying my hardest to make sure that it stays in good condition.
Good, I'm glad. But yeah, back in a Renault. It wasn't my choice, but it's what you wanted, wasn't it?
Yeah, I love them. I love Renaults.
There we go.
Lots of gadgets inside. Do you know what's really nice? You know when I had the Renault 4, I think it was. Oh no, Renault 5. It was
Renault 5, yeah, the one that forklift truck wrote off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has the same feature as that, which is literally
Go on.
a button on the door that you can just.
What do you mean?
It just has a button on the door. You just.
Oh wow!
Well, it won't do it now because I've just done it, but just messed it about. That's it. It has a button on the handle, and it's so convenient. I mean,
it shares that with the Renault 5.
Yeah.
That is cool. That is cool. It's nice. It's a nice car. Really nice cars. I've driven it a little bit. It's, you know, you kept it in good nick as well. Fair play to you. Yeah, really nice car. And we got this as well, just to give them a little. Yeah, shut the door. Just to give them a bit of a shout out because they were so bloody good. We got this from Chester Car Supermarket.
Yeah. Fantastic.
And just because I was just looking around for one, it's hard buying cars nowadays. It's really tough buying cars. You just get so many bad people in the motor trade, just giving good people a bad name. And it was just so hard to find good ones. All the cars we went to see were knackered and dented and scuffed and just real bad shape, a lot of them, or there was dodgy history and stuff with it. And when we turned up to Chester Car Supermarket, all of the cars were immaculate, and this was like all the wheels, yeah, inside and out.
Because I have washed it, but you know, it does because of the weather and the salt on the road.
Well, that has been 4 months, like.
Yeah, so it's a little bit.
But yeah, big shout out to him. I want to say a massive thank you to Chester Car Supermarket because that is superb, and he was just perfect with all the paperwork. Everything was superb. Really good garage. If you're looking for a second-hand car, they're a great option, you know. Right, back to this 911 then. The title of this video is buy the Porsche. That's all it is buy the Porsche. And the reason I picked that title for it is, it's like if there was a mantra that I'm going to start sort of living my life by, which I should have followed a long time ago. I was in a position years and years ago where I could have spent this amount of money on a car. In reality, it's only 24 and a bit grand, 24 and a half grand. You know, with it saving up a bit of a deposit and then putting the rest on HP or whatever, it's not crazy. People pay more for a Golf or, you know, I don't know, whatever. A new Ford Mondeo. Well, they don't make Mondeos anymore, do they? But you get the idea. Other modern cars are so much more expensive. Like a few years ago, I had a new Jaguar E-Pace. That was 40 odd grand, and I got that on finance, and I could have bought this instead, you know. And I was just always, I don't know why, I was sort of like, it's weird. It gets in your head, the Porsche thing. It's sort of, it makes you go like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to have to, are people going to be weird about it? Am I going to be weird about it? You know, when I'm pulling up to places or going shopping or like just driving around, commuting to work and back. But the reality I've found out after living with this car now for 3 months is it's not expensive to run. It's not that expensive to service and stuff, really, depending on how you want to do it and if you can do some stuff yourself. But also, it's practical, you know, it drives like a normal car. It's not, you know, the gears are fine, engine's amazing, it's smooth, it's quiet, it's refined, it's got all of the toys that any other car would have. So I should have bought the Porsche, well, a long time ago, but I've got it now. And I think, especially on these Lobsters, it looks so good. So good. I'm mega happy with it. And I just want you to sort of, if you're in a position to treat yourself, I know there's obviously some situations where, you know, you might need a different car because of your family and you've got kids and, you know, wives are, you know, making sure you don't buy the Porsche. And I get that. I totally do. You know, I'm not sort of speaking to everybody that might be watching here, but what I'm saying is if you're in a position like I am where there's, you know, there's no wife and there's no kids, I've not got anyone sort of depending on me, so I can go out and buy the Porsche. And if you are in that position, if you're watching this now going, I'm looking every night on eBay, I'm just not sure, I don't know whether to pull the trigger or not, go out and get one, man. And you can get 997 Carreras from like 16 grand, you know, for like a 3.6 hardtop or something. You know, there are cars out there, there's plenty of them around. Just do your due diligence, just check, go through some of the stuff that I've gone through in this video and just make sure that you are getting the right one. I've just noticed that the sun's come out. Should we do something? It's a good looking car. It is a good looking car. We have to do everything we can in this country to sort of get every little bit of sunshine we can, and that's why I bought a car where the roof comes off. Right, listen, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I know it's not dragging an old Rover out of a hedge, but I'm a petrol head, and that is pure petrol hedonism. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Just quickly before I go as well, it's probably worth mentioning that I am definitely going to be taking this car to the Nürburgring probably as soon as it opens. It's closed over winter, but we will be seeing this again as I take it around there and try and beat the Focus's time. And also, I was hoping at the end of this video to get some rollers of me sort of driving the car around here and stuff. However, Ellie, who assists me with camera stuff and does all the merch and things, she got kicked in the head by a horse the other day. She's not dead or anything, she's all right, but she's having a few days off because her head hurts because she got kicked by a horse right in the back of the head. So we all say get well soon to Ellie as well. But she's fine, she's okay. Anyway, see you all soon. Bye. Oh my God, what are you going to do with the rest of your night? It just, well, it could be so boring, couldn't it? But well, I've got a solution for you. Me and my friend WYNNE, who is an ex-RAF pilot, he did search and rescue in helicopters, and he did fast jets, which is very, very interesting. We sit in a pub and we just tend to talk rubbish, and sometimes I've been told it can be quite funny. If you want to watch that, it's called the Wheels and Wings podcast, and the link is in the description of this video. So if you fancy just sitting there and having a bit of background noise, or do your ironing, wash the dishes, put a bit of Wheels and Wings on, and yeah, the link is up there, click on it, and we're also on Spotify, but it's better on YouTube because you can see us in the pub drinking. We've just got ourselves drinks. I've got a cider because it's good to start with a cider just to get your sugars right up.
Oh yeah.
After the booze from last night.
Yeah. I've got a Guinness because it's food.
That is a food drink. This is, the ashtray's pretty cool. A year to remember. It certainly was.
It's getting to the point where you can only just...
Yeah, we can only just remember. Right, let's put the camera down and get stuck into this, yeah?